discuss and consider award of the outfitter building construction contract. Chad.
The outfitter building project was bid, and we received bids on February 6th at 2 o'clock, and their bids were read aloud. The lowest responsible bidder was Commonwealth Contracting Incorporated out of Iron Gate with a bid of $203,660. That comes in somewhat above what the grant funding will cover. The breakdown is $118,800 in grant money from USDA Rural Development, and we have $24,000 remaining in old Midwest ACO grant money that was designated for the trail development. The remaining funding can come from carry forward funds that were designated to the Jack Turner Scenic Trail many years ago in the amount of $60,860. It is the staff's recommendation that the board accepts the bid from Commonwealth Contracting and authorize Mr. Lamford to sign all associated contract documents. All the documents will be reviewed and approved by the county attorney prior to execution. I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Board members have any questions of Chad?
Yes, this is a pole building, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, are we flushing the whole building out or just part of the building? The storage area is going to be flush?
Everything's going to be finished.
Why would you have the storage area finished?
Well, it also doubles as a workshop and a garage and the potential for a meeting area also in there. We have another meeting area, but it is multi-use.
That brings the square footage cost to what, around $210,000, $109,000 a square foot.
If that's the math.
Huh?
If that's the math, I didn't break it up.
Kind of high for a pole building.
Any other questions, Mr. Chairman? Do you have any other questions?
No.
Any other board members? I do. All right.
Is this a not to exceed price?
Hey, if that's what the board would want it to be. I mean, you know, there's a chance that a change order or something could come up. We don't foresee anything like that. And if something does come up, it is probably something that we would be able to take care of and not have to ask for any more money.
Before I ask you that question, what's the board? Was going to be any more money, and now we got more money. You were standing at the same podium when I asked you, you said, I hope not.
That's what, and I certainly hope not. That's just not the way the bids came in. We received 4 bids. There's a wide range in those, 2 local and 2 out of town.
Who is this Commonwealth Contracting Service in Alleghany?
It's Ross Hammond.
Any further questions of staff?
We don't have to take action tonight.
Yes.
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 Certainly like you do.
In case we want to have some more discussion, if I had a motion to move it in a second, that'll take it to discussion if any other board members want to comment on it at that time. So got a motion to move it by Mr. Garden. Do I have a second? So we take action on this tonight, or no, that we actually approve this tonight.
What are you asking this for? What is it that Matt just,
To get it to discussion.
Well,
Instead of acting.
I said that wrong.
Right, we're not voting that.
Yes, we are.
We're voting to get it to discussion. We're not taking a vote to, that's just to get it to.
No, I shouldn't have said that. What I mean was, normally we have a motion and a second, then we open it up to discussion.
There you go.
I shouldn't have made the comment that we were just to get it to discussion. We're actually taking a motion to move this tonight. And I have a motion made to approve it. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right, I have a second. Now, board members have any further discussion before we vote?
The only discussion I have is, I can't vote for this. Came to us, the grant money, the last meeting. And we asked you then if this was going to be all he's going to need for this piece of property. Now you're back at $60,860 more dollars. Every now and then we vote on things, or I do, and I like to have that vote back. When we voted to purchase this property, I voted in favor of it. And I've thought about it ever since I took that vote. We paid 3 times, maybe 4 times more than that property was assessed at. And that really bothered me. Now we're going to spend $60,860 more than what we were told that we were supposed to spend on the property. I just can't support that. I'd put it back out there or look at the property again or do something different. I just can't support that amount of money for that piece of property.
I'd like to talk a little bit, thank you. I'd like to talk a little bit about the value of this project for the Allegheny Highlands, and also remind all of us that this is money that was allocated for this project, and it's been carried forward for a number of years. So it's there for us to use for this project. It's available, it's there, and I'd really like to see this project go forward. I think this has huge capability for the Highlands to draw people in. So those 2 things I think are important to remember as we discuss this.
What I think Cletus was saying is that he'd like to have his vote back when we purchased the property. When we were contacted by the lady to buy the property, and we were going to buy the property, we voted to buy the property, and then she backed out. After she backed out, then she come back and wanted us to buy the property again. And after I voted like Cletus did, I voted yes. But after I voted yes, I think we should have had another vote to see if we really wanted to put that money in that property. That money comes from us and the taxpayers to buy that property.
Would you share with us what other use that money might have down the road? I mean, if we were to say, no, we don't want to allocate this overflow money, which was set for this project, to the building cost, where else might it go?
Well, since it was designated towards the trail, I mean, there's always the potential that it could go towards Phase 5, which is a $2 million project, and certainly wouldn't have the benefit of the use of what it will have towards the outfitter building. This outfitter building and the opportunity to get an outfitter in the Highlands has huge economic potential with tourism and just bringing in people from the outside to spend their money, to spawn new businesses. At this point, with the trail development at where it is, it's what we're lacking to make the trail really what the vision was all those years ago when it was decided to develop the trail. If we get a quarter of what Damascus has, we'll make our money back. We really will. And I know it sounds like a lot of money that was for the property. It certainly is. But in the grand scheme, 10 years from now, it is going to be money well spent.
Is the county going to get any money from the outfitters?
Yes, sir. It'll be
Percentage?
Yeah, it'll be put out of RFP, and I can't really tell you what it'll be at this point because it'll be in the bid packages of the people that submit their proposals, but that is the way it is being requested to set up some sort of percentage, some sort of payment structure for them.
What we compromise on this and downsize the building to fit the budget, then add on to it as we see the outfitter accelerating. To me, that would be a smarter way of doing it, Chad.
Well, at this point, we can't cut back on the building without redesigning, rebidding, and potentially losing what grant money we do have.
Mr. Carter, Senior District.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And I think I'm not happy about the cost of the building, but...
Excuse me, I was wrong.
What's wrong? Oh, yeah, it is, but the trail goes through my district and the building's in his. We kind of share that right there. Being in the real estate business, I understand the value of water, and I understand the value of being near water with recreation, and the asset being in that location. I think the price is somewhat high, but the asset with the land and the building is worth it. Any real estate person in this area is going to tell you that a quarter acre lot on the river without well and septic is $50,000, a quarter acre. You've got 5 acres, what's the total in that?
Total's 5.
5 even?
Yeah.
So you've got a 5 acre tract there that will already benefit the trail that we've spent how many millions of dollars improving. I think we're getting caught up in the value of the building, which I can understand. I think it could be made smaller. It could be, I don't know if I agree with making the shop storage area insulated with drywall. That might be overkill, but it is easier to develop at a later date by doing that. What they're doing, and I understand, is making it as appealing as possible to bring someone in. And I think there is a payback. It's not a large one, but with an outfitter program, you do have the opportunity to recoup some of that money. But the biggest thing we're doing is adding value to our area. With exposure to the area that you can get by being able to have that and use the trail either by traveling up and canoeing down or taking the bike trail, either way, you're exposing our area, and not just because it's in my district, but if you ride past on a Saturday as soon as the weather breaks and look at those river accesses, you've got West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, they're all over it. And that's really improved the value of, and I'll say my district because I just know what property's transferred for up there. So, I mean, it is an investment. I see it as a very good investment because it's built out and it's finished. It's not a pad or a spec building or something like that. It's a lesser cost, but it is going to bring a return. And the return will be exposure and future value.
Mr. Bennett, if I could just make a few comments.
Can I just say something first? Comments made about buying the land. I don't mind telling you, I'd vote again tonight to pay the same thing we paid for the land. I'd vote it that way tonight. I mean, it's location. It doesn't get any better than what we purchased. The outfitter building to me is the final piece of the puzzle. I mean, we've got quite an asset there, and we're talking about spending. We have spent very little bit of Alleghany County taxpayers' money on this entire project. If you look at the whole thing over, we're talking about spending millions. So y'all nearly got every bit of that from grants. Does anybody have any idea?
That was one of the comments that I was getting ready to make, is the value of the asset. I don't know the specifics, and Mr. Williams can probably give you the specific number, but you have I know it's a $5+ million asset that has been constructed in the community with grant funding.
Yeah.
So the construction of that asset, the engineering of that, the design, the planning, all of those things. Mr. Williams has worked extremely hard to secure grant dollars to build that asset. He's secured over 60% of the funding for this particular piece in grant dollars. The remainder is existing in your budget. It has been in your budget. Neither Mr. Williams nor I can explain to you or tell you where the original $133,000 that exists in the trail budget originated, because it predates both of us, and it's been carried forward for 15 years at least in your budget. So of that $133,000, $60,000 is requested to close the gap. It's not new money. It's money that's already existing in your budget for the trail. And we have designed and engineered and built to build a facility there, noting that it is at the front door of a residential community, to make it as aesthetically pleasing as possible. And it also has a benefit to the community in that during the off-season, that facility will be available for community purposes. Meeting room, potentially the storage areas, restroom facilities that are built with it, available to community groups to utilize when the outfitter is not running the business out of it.
Old saying in business, to be successful, you got to compete with everybody else or have something a little bit. When this piece of land first became available, I spent a lot of time trying to find, I can't find anywhere in this country that you can go into one outfitter, rent a bicycle, ride it up a trail the quality of what we have, park it, get in your kayak, and go back to where you came from. There's nothing like that out there. And people that I know, I'm not a kayaker, or a bicycle rider as far as that goes, but the people that do that tell me this thing is really going to be something. It's really going to be nice. I know we've got a difference of opinion, but mine is this is the final piece that we need to do this and do it right. So I would definitely support we're going to go ahead and do this, because especially if I read this right, USDA rural development, the 118,000 of it is from them.
Actually, the 150 comes from them, but they required us to hire an engineer and everything to design and develop the building, and so that money's going to them.
But if we don't use
USDA
it,
requirement.
if we don't do this project, that money goes back to them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like we're going to pocket this in our own treasury somewhere.
Do we have to pay the difference between the 118 and the, or do we have to pay the total of 150 back to them if we don't do the project?
Yeah. If it doesn't build out, then yes.
Chad, you ever hear anything from Bass County?
As far as for phase 5 of the trail, we actually have a meeting set up with their county administrator Friday to discuss it and kind of tour what we've developed on ours.
10 a.m. Friday morning, Mr. Williams and I are scheduled to pick up Mr. Harrison, who's county administrator in Bath, to show him the trail and the area that extends into Bath. And Mr. Williams has also made an effort to reach out to the homestead as well. Responses there have been lacking, but we're making that effort.
So downsizing and re-engineering is out of the picture.
For the grant money, yes.
There's an expiration date on the grant money?
I would have to double check to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it's this fiscal year.
Do you still have the same engineering cost and bid product? I mean, is it going to be about the same cost if you rebid it and re-engineer?
Yes.
So another
It's done to USDA.
35,000 or 32,000, whatever.
But if you went back to the same engineering firm and cut the size of the building,
It would be less.
it'd be a lot less. Have we talked to them about that?
No.
So what's the expiration date for the money? You don't know.
I would have to double check, but I'm almost positive it's this fiscal year.
I just wonder if the building cost, the engineering cost will cancel out your building cost. I mean, there may not be a savings
Looks to me
there.
like for tonight, for the money, we can get it done like this is what it would cost us, time we lose the engineering money, come back 6 months later and sell it for less.
My big thing is not
If
to
we came
exceed.
back a month
that.
later, if we come back next month, you find out what it's gonna cost, and then we have another set of figures.
Well, I could certainly have another set of figures of an estimate from the engineer, but as far as bidding it and having all that done in a month, that's not likely. I don't think the engineer's going to turn that around in a week.
If my math is correct, and I was an English major in college, so maybe not, but it looks to me like what you're asking for is less than 1% of what's already been spent on the project. That's a really small amount of money. And if that money goes to make this project, and this outfitters building is also, it is not an add-on, it is central to the project. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Well, one thing I'd like to add, he's not asking us for the money, he's just asking us for permission to spend somebody else's money that's already there.
Absolutely, right. And which has been in the budget before most of us were born. No, not really, but almost to the point where we don't know who put it in there. We only know it's been carried over year upon year upon year.
I think any one of us, if somebody came to you and say, I would give you $5 million if you're willing to spend 60, I think we'd all say yes.
Well, since we have a motion and a second, I think, Mr. Attorney, we have to have a vote. Any further discussion? Melissa?
Mr. Griffith?
No?
Mr. Nicely?
No.
Mr. Shaw?
I will say yes.
Ms. Vanderstall?
Yes?
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.